exercise start. Um, I'm about to do just some stretching, have some C4. It was 7:03 a.m. when I started this recording. It is Sunday. It is MLK weekend. I'm vibing over here. Let's see. I don't know. I keep leaving these C4s. I keep leaving them out, and they seem to kind of bleach after a couple days. And I guess maybe being a little wasteful that way. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna make the C4, just make half of it. I say it like I'm cooking or something, but yeah, it seems like it takes me about 4 days to get through one of these if I'm drinking just like 50 milligrams or so. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pinch this one in half, because if you guys remember, I'm working with these little powder packs. So I'm gonna pinch this one in half, and then I'm gonna just, just pinch something in half. So it's only 100 milligrams in here, instead of 200 whole. And then I'll add some water to the normal mark of where 100 normally is. Then this should be 2 days to drink it, and it won't be sticking out so much. I had a good Saturday. I didn't actually end up doing workouts, which is fine, because like I said, I'm kind of taking a day off here and there. And so I'm gonna drink this and have 30 or 50 milligrams. I'm trying to do like a day off per week or so. And again, I don't want to jinx it, but this cycle of mine just isn't really doing what it normally does so far. So maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe that's a health improvement marker. Maybe it's just an off kind of cycle that, every so often I do get one that's like weird. It happened, I think, September of 2025. It was really crazy and bad. August of 2024, it like almost just didn't happen at all. So I tend to get maybe about once a year where it's like either shockingly bad or shockingly light. But I also just don't know. But sometimes things about a cycle can really tell you a lot about yourself and a lot about, if something might be up with your body. What that exactly is, I don't fully know. I'm still trying to learn a lot about it, but it is kind of a triggering topic for me these days, a little bit, just because I've had so much bad experience with it. Sometimes if there's like people teaching about it, I really just don't want to think about it. But it's not happening. So I don't know. I feel like some friends have probably noticed that I'm kind of a little off my normal consistency with people, because I tend to be decently consistent when I say I'm gonna do something. You know, at least in the past, I wasn't flaky. I wasn't usually having to cancel. I wasn't usually, like, even today or last night, a friend was talking to a friend, and one of those friends mentioned to the other one that I was going to Sick New World, and it's in April 2026, like in Vegas, the Vegas one. And I was like, yeah, I plan to go, but it's like my work schedule's up in the air, my health related things are kind of up in the air, and I kind of calculated that my cycle could potentially start anywhere from the 23rd of April to the 28th of April, and the event is on the 25th. So I don't really know. It just depends kind of what the cycle is that's closest to it, where it's going to fall. Usually I have somewhere between 21 and maybe 25 days. And I'm now going on day 6 of this one, and I don't even know what it's doing. It feels more like it. Yesterday kind of felt more like it was day 2. Usually usually like day 2, 3, and 4 are like the worst. But those already came and went, and so I don't know. I don't want to talk about it way too much. It's just kind of in my way, because I remember saying, okay, at least if it started during the week, it should be, done by Sunday. Like, the worst of it should be over by Sunday, and I'll be not, like, having to lay in bed and stuff. So far, I haven't really been having to lay in bed, even though I kind of did. Anyways, I kind of spent Saturday more relaxed and doing some relaxed things. I watched Rental Family at night. I did not study like I was going to. I decided that I'll wake up early, exercise, study, and I've got an appointment at 10:30, so I decided that's what I was going to do instead. And just try to bang out a lot today. I did want to work out more this weekend too, though, so I might do 2 a day today. Yesterday, though, I did end up eating a bean and cheese burrito, a hard chicken taco that had in it like a tomato sauce, chicken, cheese, and lettuce. And it wasn't, it was like a homemade hard shell taco. It's like a fried tortilla, and then, or deep fried tortilla, and or something like that. And then the chicken and stuff wasn't that salty. I got 2 bean and cheese. Didn't eat the whole second one. Ate a couple of the chips with salsa. And I don't know how many calories that is. If I look it up, how many calories I don't know if it's gonna say. Let's see. Let me see if I can find that out. How many calories it is. I'm not so worried about the taco. I should have looked this up before too. I don't know if it says. I don't know if I could figure this out. If it's gonna say anywhere how many calories, but people are saying a large one It's 300 to 400 calories. Assuming cheddar cheese. If it's like a large burrito, like that doesn't make sense though. If it's 300 to 400 calories or 320 calories, that doesn't really make sense because a lot of times the tortilla itself is like over 100 something calories. Sometimes those tortillas are like 200 calories. So I don't think beans are pretty high calorie, and especially if they put lard in them, and then cheese is definitely high calorie. So I guess you can't use that much cheese. This place doesn't use like way too much cheese, but I have a hard time believing that it's on the lower end in the 300 calorie range. Their burritos did get smaller at the place I've gone to, and they did go up in price. They used to be $5 for two, then they went up to $6 for two, then they went up for $8 for two, and now it's at $6 a piece. So what I used to pay like in early college days, maybe high school even, $5 for two, it's now $12 for two. And they're smaller. They used to be bigger. So, because I didn't used to be able to like really hold it in one hand like that. They used to be a little bit larger. So now they're about the width and size of like a 16-ounce water bottle. They used to be kind of like fat, like the Chipotle burritos, but it was all bean and cheese. But such is life. That is the story that we know. Since I had a pretty sedentary Saturday, I think what I want to do today is do some lifting and some capoeira, something a little bit heavier. Kind of prioritize that this morning because I really haven't done anything that intensive. Okay, I finished about 50 milligrams. I'm trying to take it easier on the caffeine. The past couple nights, I've actually slept pretty good with, I think last night I took way less edibles from what I recall, because I'm running out. I mean, today is a sale, because it is a holiday weekend, so a lot of the dispensaries are having sales. So I might go at night to go make a purchase just to save some money, because sometimes the sales are really worth it. Like, you can get buy one get one free on stuff sometimes, so it really is worth it. It would be like if you have melatonin that you take every night and then they're just like giving away a free extra container. It's like that stuff adds up. When it's something you're having daily or almost daily even, it's like it adds up to get an extra one for free, honestly. And especially because the prices aren't always consistent depending which store and depending just when you go or where you go. I can get something, the same thing, anywhere from $6 to $18. And then the tax isn't that predictable because you get taxed like 3 times. And then there's fees. And if you use a card, there's more fees. It's like, I never really know how much I'm paying just for like a little thing of edibles that says like $18 or $15 on it. It can easily be like $25, $28. After all that extra money added. So, and I kind of cycle between like 3 major dispensaries. There's one that I like, but everything there is like $40, and I don't really like the specific products as much. I usually go for Cushy Punch and Raw Garden. I don't usually go for much else. They seem to be the most consistent, and I trust them the most, and the effects, I kind of like exactly the recipe that they have. I don't really, there's a lot of stuff that I'm like whatever I got in Long Beach on New Year's Day, that was not for me. Um, they weren't bad. I just didn't like them. Like, and it's hard to really get details about the exact strains that they use to make different products, the exact oils they use for like edible products and stuff. The process, like if it's got, if it's concentrated or what, or if it's gonna be like a fast acting, or if it's sugar free or whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna just focus on what I'm doing. I think it's really just gonna be weights and capoeira. I need to strengthen my shoulders and I mean, there's a lot that needs to be strengthened, let's be real, but my shoulders and, to be able to hold me. And, I might need to practice some of the capoeira kicks, get the motion down. I'll have to do that. Not in this room. I don't have enough space. One of my friends, I was asking them about those snowboard and ski and ice kind of like tiles, those fake flooring things that people use for practice. I was asking some of my friends that are really good at snowboarding what they feel about those tiles, and they said that they think it's pretty cool. So I'm actually considering if I would get those, because I don't think I'm making it to the mountains this year, guys. If I do, it's not going to be till like April, and I can't really predict. It's definitely not going to be by March, and April's kind of a push. That means I have to find a job, get a job, have a job that's available for me to go, and have my car in good enough condition in the next couple months. I do have one more set of repairs I want to take it in for. That'll be at the end of January, to see if I can get it in a decent condition to be able to get down to San Diego without having to take a bus or train. But I don't know, the mountains is kind of a different story. If I'm gonna stall, I'd rather stall on the way to San Diego, in like LA or Orange County, or in San Diego. I'd rather not stall in the mountains. But just a preference if I had to choose. But I'm usually rocking AAA, and I usually travel with a spare phone with a hotspot on it, hotspot availability, data, and so, if I need internet or calls or something, a lot of times I'm able to kind of at least have that backup to where I can have something that gets reception, hopefully. I don't know. I'm stretching because I don't want to get injured, because I didn't do much yesterday at all, but I don't know, guys. I'm actually feeling pretty good. Like, even yesterday, I felt very good. I did a lot of meditating and listened to a service that was actually very beneficial to hear. And I guess what I'm happiest about is reconnecting with a lot of friends. I mean, I'm not really getting to reconnect with the ones that I like the most, or the ones that I'm closest to, or the ones that I want to catch up with the most. But I am, reconnecting with people who I still care about very much. It's just there's certain people that I still want to see too, that I'm not really able to see much. And I guess that's fine for now, Like, I try to see them kind of sometimes, but it's just been a hard couple years to kind of make that work. And it's really hard because I can't invite people over. So it's like, to me, that would be the easiest, to just be like, come over here. We can hang out over here, but we can't hang out over here. So I'm kind of like, we have to go out if we're going to hang out. And either someone else has to open up their house, or we have to go somewhere, and it's probably going to cost money for us to go. which is fine. If somebody's providing a space, you know, you're gonna have to pay to kind of use it. And I don't know, but I might keep today offline, at least, other than like studying and, you know, learning like martial arts stuff. I might just keep today, for the most part, offline, at least till a certain time of day. Maybe till I finish all the stuff that I need to be finishing. Like maybe when I'm eating breakfast and lunch, I might keep it. Yeah, when I'm eating breakfast and lunch, I might keep it. Keep like going online during those times. Maybe I don't know yet. I haven't decided, but something along those lines. But yeah, I feel rested. I mean, I started feeling rested on like Friday, but I extended it into Saturday just to like make myself forced to rest. Yesterday, even though I wanted to do so much stuff, I literally forced myself to rest. I was like, no, just don't do much. Like, because I was still a little like in my head of like, I kind of still feel like I need a little bit of a break from stuff. So I really took that break. So now the next couple days I just kind of have to kill. So I have 2 days off still, so I need to just kind of kill. And then Wednesday is probably going to be more of a day off for me. Not a full day off, but like a partial day. So I'll take advantage of that. It probably won't be a full day. I don't know for sure. I wish I knew for sure, but I don't know for sure. But a lot of times our Wednesday class lets out early, and we just had a big day this past Wednesday, so I don't really know if we even have anything due. And that instructor doesn't really make it very clear. They kind of post stuff last minute. So okay. But I'm gonna try to catch up as much as I can today and tomorrow. Yesterday was more of like a strategizing day and kind of like getting to understand where I'm at with some stuff while I wasn't distracted to do any other thing. So alright, I'm gonna get into the stuff I need to do. I don't want to spend all morning trying to stretch. I feel like I've stretched kind of enough. I think, you don't really have to stretch like too good, but sometimes a little tightness is good, but I'm just, trying to make sure I don't neglect it and get injured, because I've been on a roll lately, and the last thing I need right now is an injury. I can tell you that much. If I get injured, I'm going to be super upset about that, because I don't really like pain or other conditions and things getting in the way. I'm trying to really make it so that isn't such a regular problem. Alright, time to work out. Alright, so took a food pick. We're at breakfast now. I guess technically brunch, it's almost 9 a.m. in like 6 minutes or 4 minutes or 3 minutes actually now. Just took a little Advil, a little preventative Advil, to see if that's what it is that might be assisting me with this cycle situation. And then kind of getting my desk organized. I'm gonna study right after I eat. I'm basically having 6 gigantic strawberries, 3 boiled eggs, and a protein shake, whatever was in the packet. that was the scoop worth. But if you remember, I got the packets this time. Packets of C4 and packets of protein powder. The capoeira went nice. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit before I forget. So basically, it looks like I did an hour and 13 minutes of exercising this morning. 24th, that was stretching with you guys. 19 minutes was what was I doing for 19 minutes? I guess I was kind of using the weights, lifting and stuff, and then some Shotokan, a little bit of the capoeira kicks and things like in the garage. None of the low ones, nothing where I have to like touch the floor, because the garage is filthy and I do not want to touch that floor. But with my hands, but maybe if I got some gloves or something. But I'm a little weird about certain sensory things. I don't like either on my feet or on my hands to feel like grime on the floor, how there's like dust, like pieces of dust or like little, just stuff where it's like sand or like little things where you're touching it. I really don't like that feeling at all, because it makes me feel like my hands or my feet or whatever's touching it is like pretty dirty. Like I don't like to feel things on a hard surface. It's just kind of a weird sensory thing of mine. And then the capoeira, I spent maybe 13 minutes with it at the end. There were maybe 3-4 minutes in there where I was, putting boiled eggs on, and then I was kind of turning them off and putting cold water when they were done. But I did a little recording of myself that I don't plan to post, but I did a recording to see if I can just just compare my form to that in the videos of Edgar Bombril. I want to see, I kind of noticed that I'm trying to do the ones where your head's on the floor, and then you kind of flare out your legs for like a kick, and I just can't figure that out. I can't even figure out how to put my head on the floor. I've noticed when I'm standing upright, it's hard to put my head on the floor. But when I'm kind of if I put my head on the floor first, from like a kneeling position, then I can stand up that way, kind of almost like downward dog. And then it looks like you're supposed to be doing it from the position, I don't know what that position is called, I need to figure out the name, where you kind of hook one leg around the other one, where you're kind of more on the ground and balancing on one arm. I noticed that he kind of puts his elbow, or like his arm, into the side of his ribs to balance partially that way on the hand on the floor, from the elbow into the shoulder, kind of that part of the arm touching the rib cage or side of the body, and then the head's on the ground from there, and the leg that usually would hook around the bent knee, the ankle with where the knee is bent, that leg is straightened out. So there's like a straight line going from there's like a straight line going from that leg on the ground all the way, kind of like an upward angle toward where your elbow is going to be touching your side. That arm is just like a down, kind of it's perpendicular to the ground. Did that makes any sense to anybody, I don't know. But I don't know. That's what happens when I don't have names for things. So another thing, I might need to figure out the names of what I'm trying to do because it's really hard to explain. I know Jinga, and then there's a certain kit called Kishada, and there's something else called something they. I don't know how they pronounce it. If it's Jin, but it's Rin. Something de Jin. Que de Jin. I don't know if that's. Let me see how it's spelled. But it's interesting. Like now, like I know a lot about breakdancing, and it's very interesting to see these moves broken down. I'm like, yeah, these are definitely the same moves. Keda, Keda de. He seems to say it Keda de Jin. Quedaderins. And then the Kishado one, which is kind of like a. I don't know. I don't know how to explain this stuff. It's like a flared out kick. Like you're kicking outward, and then that leg comes behind you, and then you're blocking forward. I don't know. Well, I gotta eat and study and get some stuff done, but I don't know. I'm cold because I'm sitting here in my shorts, but it's gonna be hot again today, so I don't really want to put my heater on and then like be melting in my room all day. But so far, do I really want to say so far so good with the symptoms? But I really think that's how I feel. So hopefully it just stays at least as is without any major issues coming up. Because this is nice at least that I'm not like suffering for 3 full days like I'm used to. So maybe the preventative Advil helps, because people do say that it helps to kind of minimize things. Usually what I was doing before is waiting till it gets bad and then taking the Advil, but I've just been taking it in the mornings. But the crazy thing is that it's not getting bad later on. Like the Advil doesn't last all day. So I don't really know what's up with that, but if it's working, it's worth noting and worth attempting to repeat it. I'm not giving medical advice to other people or anything, but this is what seems to be working for me right now, so I'll take it.